If you live on the East Coast and looking for a good theme park experience without traveling all the way down to Florida, there's a closer option for you, and it's Busch Gardens Williamsburg. This park is themed to the continent of Europe, with each section of the park themed to a specific country. Well, there's a lot to unpack here with today's review, so let's jump in. Rides and attractions. Busch Gardens is a big park with lots of room to expand. Currently, Busch Gardens has 8 roller coasters, all offering a variety of thrills. It's hard to pick out my favorite coaster in the park, but that's a good problem to have because all of them are exciting in their own merit. Well, besides Grover's Alpine Express, that is. But that's for a different audience. Moving on, Apollo's Chariot, the original B&M Hyper coaster, is loaded with airtime. Alpengeist is a massive inverted coaster that's intense. Griffin, the tallest coaster in the park, has a great first drop. Verbolten, a multi-launching family coaster, has a couple cool tricks up its sleeve. Invader, their newest coaster, is a fun but short ride. Tempesto, a Skyrocket 2 model, is yet another multi-launch coaster, but yet this one is more intense than Verbolten. Then there's Loch Ness, a classic aero looping coaster with its famous interlocking loops. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is more than just coasters. The park has a good mix of thrill rides and other family attractions for everyone to enjoy. Oh, and how could I forget to mention their shows, which are fantastic. Personally, I think Busch Gardens Williamsburg has some of the best shows you can find at any theme park. They're that good. Busch Gardens is a place where everyone in your family can find something that they'll enjoy. Oh, and as a side note, Busch Gardens has a few areas in the park with kiddie rides and attractions, which is great because of how big the park is. You don't have to keep hiking back to that one area if your younger ones want to ride something. I'm looking at you, Kings Island. Overall, Busch Gardens has the complete package. With their attractions, and the lineup is only looking better, as there's already a new coaster on the horizon. Plus, the park announced an S&S swing over the Ireland area for 2019. I'm giving Busch Gardens a score of 10 for rides and attractions. Park atmosphere and theming. What really separates a park from being an amusement park to becoming an actual theme park is obviously the theming. I am happy to say Busch Gardens has some fantastic theming. Honestly, outside of a Universal or a Disney park, this is one of the best, if not the best in the country. The level of detail is great. Each section has its own unique look, sound, and even smells. The park actually puts certain aromas in the air to give it that extra touch of immersion. Beyond the theming, the park also does a great job with all the gardens, foliage, trees, and landscape. I mean, this should be expected since it is called Busch Gardens. But yeah, the landscaping is excellent. Wherever you are in the park, there's always something nice to catch your eye. The park does a great job of even hiding the maintenance type stuff from its guests, just like you'd see at a Universal or Disney park. The storage sheds, maintenance buildings are kept tucked away to keep the integrity of the whole atmosphere that they're aiming for. Busch Gardens earns another 10 for park atmosphere and theming. Park food. Every different section in the park offers up its own unique food for that country. So, for an example, in England, you can get fish and chips. Italy, there's loads of pasta. Germany, you can get your various sausages and such. France, I think they have like crepes. Ireland, I can't quite remember what the food option is over there, but whatever it is, I'm sure it's great. If you're not into eating these types of foods, no worries. There's plenty of other traditional amusement park carnival type food scattered around as well. Pricing is mostly competitive with other amusement park, theme park prices, so no real complaints there. Overall, Busch Gardens has such a good variety of options, I'm giving the park food a score of 10. Park value. When you look at all that is available to you, what you get for the price of admission, I think it's typical with other competing theme parks like Dollywood, Silver Dollar City, and other SeaWorld parks. Parking is very typical, sticking with somewhere around that $20 range. During my last trip, I visited Busch Gardens with my family, and we got the package deal, which included hotel, parking, and admission to both Busch Gardens and Water Country USA. Oh, and we even got vouchers for 2 meals for each person. This whole deal only cost, I think it was like $180, which is pretty amazing when you look at all that you get out of this. But yeah, anyways, I think the rest of the pricing is pretty typical what you would expect from any other park. But yeah, this deal was pretty good, so I can't overlook that. I think a score of 8 sounds about appropriate for park value. Park staff. Okay, so this is where I will say Busch Gardens and Disney start to go their separate ways. I'm not saying that the employees are bad here at all. No, I think that every single employee I talked to was helpful and informative. But I didn't feel that quote-unquote magic that I'd get with Disney staff. The employees here are also in typical theme park attire, which is a little surprising. I mean, they do a great job with the theming, so it does pull you out when you're in a particular country and all the employees have the same polo shirt and name tag. It's not really a complaint, as much as I think it's something they should consider maybe changing in the future. But overall, a score of 8 sounds like a good score for park staff. Okay, the final score comes to 9.2, which is an excellent score. Busch Gardens is one of my favorite theme parks to visit, and I'm really excited to go back, especially with what's rumored to be on the way. If you haven't been to Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I highly suggest you book yourself a trip here in the near future. And if you're not a coaster fan, there's still plenty of things to do here. Bring your whole family, they'll all have a great time. My daughter was 3 when we visited last, and she loved it. Sure, this park does have a couple things to improve on, but yeah, it's honestly all minor stuff anyways. So make a trip out to Busch Gardens Williamsburg right away, you won't regret it. Well, thank you for watching today's video. Please subscribe, check out more of my other content, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.